Hey guys, how we doing and how we feeling today? Okay, so today we're gonna talk about Beyonce's, yes, that's right, Queen Bee's seventh studio album titled Renaissance. Many of you must have heard of this album by now, and maybe many of you also heard this album at least once by now. It's been quite the hot topic lately, so okay, let's get into it. So, okay. First of all, we only had one single to, kick off this era, and we've only had that single since, which is Break My Soul. As of today is the 10th of August, 2022, of course. As of today, Break My Soul is the number one song on the Hot 100. Just went number one this week. Really happy of her B, It's her 8th solo number one on the Hot 100. And yeah, it's really quite impressive if you think about it. She's 25 years into her career and she still has it, she's still going quite strong. So let's give some applause for Queen Bee. She deserves it. So, okay, that was a little awkward. Okay, so now let's get into the album itself, shall we? Okay, so the album is 1 hour and 2 minutes long, so it's a little above passing the hour limit. So it is quite a long listen. Just how much replay value does it have? Let's get into it. Okay, so it's 16 tracks, but some of them, one of them passes the 6-minute mark, and there are quite a couple that, almost go up to 5 minutes and almost up to 4 minutes and such. So yeah, there's quite a lot here to listen to. So okay, let's get into the album, briefly go over each track, and then we'll go back to the beginning and analyze this time around just a couple of the songs because there are quite a lot. I just went with the ones that I thought had more to talk about, to dissect. So okay. We start off the album with I'm That Girl, the opening track. And let me just say right here, Beyoncé wastes no time at all at setting the scene for this new chapter in her discography. And with me having literally these past few days going through her entire discography, because it's not like I hadn't listened to any of her albums. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is that the only album of Beyonce's that I had listened to it in its entirety was Lemonade, before I went through the whole discography for this review. Now that I have, then naturally I'm already caught up with all of her 7 albums. So okay, going back to I'm That Girl, it's a pretty strong opening track. It really is. An album, it's not easy for an album to kick off this strongly, and Renaissance is already up to a pretty solid beginning with this song. And not only that, but this track also gives the listener, I would say, a clear idea of where the sound is heading this time around. It's quite a different sound for Beyonce, I would say. With this house heavy oriented sound. Also mixed with, R&B and other genres. And also, Beyonce just wants you on that dance floor straight away. She's like, get your ass up there and dance away. That's what this album is all about. You'll see right now. Okay, so then we go into track number 2, Cozy. Well, before I move on, I just want to say that a detail I really liked about this album, it's quite minor, but I'm all about the details here. I mean, obviously, a lot of albums do it nowadays, but I don't know. I like that Beyoncé went with all caps on this one. All the titles on the track list are all caps. I don't know. I just thought I would point that out. Okay, so going back to Cozy, I'm That Girl transitions quite smoothly into this track. As you'll see all throughout this album, well, not necessarily all the tracks, but there are quite a few that they transition really smoothly from one to another. And I really appreciate when artists do that on their albums. It gives you a strong sense of cohesion. Okay. And also, the beat picks up towards the end. It goes a little faster. And I would say that's a really nice touch because I would say it preps the listener for the upcoming track, which is Alien Superstar, which is, I've seen that it's quite popular among the 16 tracks. I would say, yeah, one of the most popular ones. I've seen a lot of traction of it on Twitter, Spotify, and such. I can see it as a hit, as a future hit for Beyoncé. Okay, so Alien Superstar, yet another seamless transition, this time, from Cozy to this track. And a noteworthy thing to point out here is that Beyoncé samples Right Said Fred's I'm Too Sexy. Gotta admit, I didn't know the name of the group that the song was from. Obviously, I knew the song, it's a classic, but I had to look it up because I knew it was sampling I'm Too Sexy. But there, I think it was on Genius, I discovered that the group is actually called Right Said Fred. And this song has been sampled also by Taylor Swift with Look What You Made Me Do, and by Drake and his song, I think it's called Way Too Sexy. So yeah, it goes around quite a lot. Okay, so moving on to track number 4, Cuff It. This song, now that I listened to this album 3 times, it wasn't until the 3rd listen, which was literally right before I started recording this review, that I got a newfound appreciation for this track. So much so that it became one of my highlights. I'll get into my highlights after the album breakdown. But I will say this also about the song. I like how Beyoncé switches it up a little for a more carefree track. Yeah, it's really nice. Then moving on to track number 5, Energy. Okay, so the transition, yes, it's another smooth transition, but in this case, I would say that the transition from the previous track this time around would make you think that you're still listening to the same song. This happened to me ever since the first listen. I literally thought I was still listening to Cuff It, but no, it was actually Energy, because it's that seamless, the transition between the 2 songs, that you think you're hearing the same thing, but no, it's not. It's 2 different songs. And in the song, Beyoncé unapologetically shades the Karens of the world. Karens are a real case. Every time even more with time. She says, "'Cause them Karens just turn into terrorists." And yeah, I mean, we've seen quite a lot of videos about Karen, so yeah, nothing more to be said there. Okay, moving on to Break My Soul, the lead single, and yeah, as I said, the only single that is still, yeah, I mean, the only single we have up until this point. Okay, so yet again, another seamless transition from the previous song. And this song, gotta say, makes a lot of sense as a lead single. At first, okay, so when this song came out, I saw quite a lot of people online, like on Twitter. They weren't really vibing with the song. I've always been a fan of the song. I have to admit. The truth is, I was always a fan of the song. I still am. I get why it's now a number one hit. At first, I was doubting it would go number one, but it just did. So yeah, and it's very radio friendly. I would say it's the most danceable track on this album, and I thought there would be more, like at least one track that was more danceable than this one, but I would say it still holds that top spot in this album. So yeah, and I mean, it's very like a party ready song. Like you're getting ready to go to a party, to the club with some friends, a night out. Really gives you that vibe. Okay, then moving on to track number 7, Church Girl. Okay, here is where I would say the album starts to feel a little dragged out. What I mean by that is that it feels like the album is hitting like the pumping the brakes a little, because we're coming from Break My Soul, this smash, and now Church Girl like kind of takes a dip a little. Not a bad song. Well, I will say this, I don't see it as a very memorable song, and I have heard it several times. And after the third listen to this album, I will say it's even pretty repetitive, and I don't really appreciate, well, there are exceptions obviously, but I don't usually gravitate towards highly repetitive songs. Has to be more varied within the lyrical content for me to not get annoyed by it. Okay, moving on to Plastic Off the Sofa. The only thing I would say about the song for now is that it's a pretty sultry song. I mean, it's not uncommon for Beyoncé by any means, on the contrary. But okay, moving on. Virgo's Groove. So this is not your typical kind of love song, and there's a pretty nice vocal moment from Beyoncé towards the end. Then track number 10, Move. Beyoncé, simply put, takes charge in this song. She shows everyone who runs the place, who's the queen. And this song, I will say this song doesn't have a lot going for it sound-wise, but however, its most memorable component is its lyrics. So at least it has that going for it. Okay, we're gonna skip through track number 11, Heated. Don't really have something to say about that one, so let's move on. Track number 12, Thick. Okay, so this song is quite a lot, but in the best way possible. First of all, here is where I appreciate the song even more, given by the fact that the album picks up once again with this song. We're entering like the last sort of third of this album. So there's that. Beyoncé leaves nothing at all to the imagination from the get-go. Nothing more to be said about that. The beat during a portion of the song, I gotta say, reminds me of Billie Eilish's Bad Guy. Um, yeah. And this song keeps surprising the listener all throughout with its shifting sound and pace. Okay, then we're gonna skip through All Up in Your Mind, go straight to track number 14, America Has a Problem. And I will say this, the title alone already piques the listener's curiosity because you're like, okay, is Beyonce talking about the US or what is she talking about? Then we go into Pure / Honey or Pure Honey. The lyrics are pretty playful, and what I took away from the song mainly is that Beyonce is patting herself on the back, not only acknowledging but flaunting her own success and, A-list premiere status in the industry. So good for her. You go, girl. And okay, the last track on this album, Summer Renaissance. So, okay, Beyonce samples Donna Summer's timeless hit, I Feel Good. Love Donna Summer. And it's a pretty solid finish to the album. So, yeah, that's another really solid extra points for this track. Okay, moving on to my highlights are 6. So we have I'm That Girl, Cuff It, Break My Soul, Thick, America Has a Problem, and Summer Renaissance. Okay, then we're gonna go, well, not really back to the very beginning, but sort of to analyze just a couple of the songs, starting with Cozy. Beyonce sings, she's a god, she's a hero, she survived all she's been through. Confident, damn she lethal. Might I suggest you don't fuck with my sis, cause she comfortable in my skin, feet up above your sins. I love myself, goddamn. Cozy, been down, been up, been broke down, bounce back, been off, been on, been back. What do you know about that? Been the light, been dark, been the truth, been that King Bay energy. I've been thick, been fine, still a 10, still here, that's on me. Okay, so what I gather from this song is that, okay, first of all, Beyonce's talking about someone who she sees as a real warrior, of life, someone who's been through a lot, and yet that person is still here, still kicking it, still now they're even a badass, for dealing with surpassing and dealing with all that. And so she's like, okay, you don't mess with this person, don't mess with my sis, because she comfortable. Then she goes on to say this part of being comfortable in her own skin, loving herself, and she's cozy. I really love this message because we gotta love ourselves first above all else. So being comfortable in your own skin, it's essential. You have to, it's vital for your everyday life, because if not, you're projecting. If you're not comfortable, if you're uncomfortable in your own skin, and if you don't love yourself, then you're projecting the opposite towards the world, and that's negativity, and we don't want that. We just want good vibes. So yeah, and this also this message of I've been through some things, but I get back up every time, and I come back stronger each time. And I'm a 10 out of 10, and I know that. So yeah, it's like not doubting yourself, being even like more confident, each time, like with your life experiences. So yeah, okay. Moving on to Break My Soul. Beyonce sings, "Now I just fell in love and I just quit my job. I'm gonna find new drive. Damn, they work me so damn hard. Work by 9, then off past 5. And they work my nerves. That's why I cannot sleep at night. I'm looking for motivation. I'm looking for a new foundation. Yeah, and I'm on that new vibration. I'm building my own foundation. Yeah. Hold up, oh baby, baby. If you don't seek it, you won't see it. That we all know. Can't break my soul. If you don't think it, you won't be it." Okay, so this song, ever since I paid attention to the lyrics back when it first came out, I was really intrigued by them. When I started paying attention to them, of course. So yeah, it's really quite interesting, what she's talking about, like being overworked, but then reassuring that that job won't break your soul no matter what, that you love yourself way too much and you respect yourself way too much to be treated like that, like you deserve better. So you're how that's treating you, how badly that's treating you, so you're finding new drive, new motivation elsewhere, and you're working on feeling better, on being on a better plane, Okay, moving on to Church Girl. Beyonce sings, "I've been up, I've been down. Felt like I moved mountains. Got friends that I cried fountains. Oh, I'm warning everybody, as soon as I get in this party, I'm gonna let go of this body. I'm gonna love on me. Nobody can judge me but me. Ooh, I was born free." Excuse me. Okay, so not a lot to say about this part of the lyrics, but okay. So what I take from this song is that, as with Break My Soul, Beyonce is, going on, like still talking about this thing about she has been through some stuff, but she has bounced back. And she even has friends who have gone through shitty stuff. But, she's like, okay, once I get to this party, I'm gonna just let loose. I'm gonna feel myself. And I don't care what anybody says about me. I just care about what I think, not what anybody else thinks of me. Okay, and lastly, Plastic Off the Sofa, Beyonce sings, "Boy, I know you can't help but to be yourself around me. Yourself around me, no. And I know nobody's perfect, so I'll let you be. I'll let you be. It's the way you wear your emotions on both of your sleeves. Oh, to the face you make when I tell you that I have to leave. Say you won't change. I love the little things that make you you. Oh, the rest of the world is strange, stay in your lane. Just you and me and our family, I think you're so cool, even though I'm cooler than you." Okay, so basically Beyonce is talking about, her relationship with Jay-Z, her husband, and she's talking about how she loves how he is fully himself around her, and she's like, okay, I know nobody's perfect, so I kind of really respect that you're like showing me your imperfections. Yeah, just being unapologetic about it, and how he expresses himself. He doesn't bottle up his emotions, and she loves those little details, those tiny details that make Jay-Z himself, and make him the person that she fell in love with. And she's like, let's not care about anyone else, just let's focus on us and our family. And I love how she's like, And I think you're so cool, even though I'm cooler than you. Like she threw a little sass in there, but that's beat for you. Okay, so that's the album. Just a couple of things to point out overall. Okay, so as I said, the album has a really strong start. The first third, I mean, I know it's 16 tracks, it's not 15, but let's call them thirds. The first third, it's really strong. But then after Break My Soul, we pass on to track number 7, Church Girl, and as I said already, that's where I felt that the album was dragging out a little. It was slowing down, was losing, well, I know this is subjective, but I have to say it. It was losing my interest at that point. And I was like, okay, we need to pick it up again. But yeah, even objectively, I do feel that the middle part could have been better. But I love how it has a strong finish. You know, the last third, as I said earlier, is really solid. It picks up back again. I would say starting from Thick up until the end, Summer Renaissance, which is a really damn good closing track. And I also have to say this album, it didn't have to be 16 tracks long. I mean, for me, 16 tracks is quite a lot. I would take an album that long if the tracks in general or all of them were like on the shorter side. But here, as I said earlier, there are some tracks there's one that exceeds the 6-minute mark. There are some that go up to almost 5 minutes, up to 4 minutes. So, I mean, it could have been shorter. Some tracks didn't have to be here. Like some tracks could have been cut. Especially, I would have cut some of the middle tracks, and I think it would have made for a better album. But that's just me. Okay, finally, is this Beyonce's best album? I will say no. Lemonade is by far Beyonce's best album. Enough said. Well, I will say one thing though about that. I mean, I remember perfectly at the 2017 Grammys, I was watching them that very night, obviously on the TV, and Lemonade went up against Adele's 25. I believe it was for Album of the Year, and 25 took it. But even Adele said that, you know, Beyonce deserves this. Like, Lemonade was monumental. And yeah, she's right. I mean, I would have still given it to 25, but she wasn't wrong. Like, Lemonade was a strong contender also. It could have also took it. And, you know, Renaissance, I do think it's a really exciting, like, new chapter in Beyonce's discography. However, it is quite of a step down from Lemonade. So, and I've seen that this is supposed to be a trilogy, so let's see what the rest of Renaissance sounds like. But this is still a solid start to this Renaissance era, so okay. I give this album 4 out of 5 stars. And yeah, guys, that was my review for Renaissance by Beyoncé. Before I go, be sure to follow Pop and Bop on Instagram at Pop and Bop and on TikTok at Pop and Bop1 for more content. And yeah, guys, this has been Pop and Bop. I'm Emilio Fernandez, and thank you so much for listening. See you next time.